David Beightol is here. He's a former Romney, Jeb Bush donor. David, my point was and remains that it is an uphill climb statistically for even Donald Trump to do it at this stage. Just my opinion, but especially if others stay in the race, and even if it's just down to Ted Cruz in the race. Your thoughts?
I agree. If you look at the math, Trump doesn't look like at this point he is going to have the delegates to make it. I think Mitt Romney's speech last week, the benefit of that was to get people to take a second look. It's not going to change many of the Trump voters, but it might put a cap on it. And I think that seems to be bearing out right now. My view is like Mitt's in that, I put country first in this situation, not party first. And you've seen the military leaders, national security experts, and others come out and say the Trump nomination is frightening because it doesn't put country first. That's my view on that. And
but
then,
you know the grief that he's gotten for that. That is Mitt Romney. He probably knew that. You know him well. I mean, I've covered him over the years. And he told me he knew very well people would bring up the fact that he got his endorsement, coveted that endorsement 4 years ago, didn't seem to have any problems with the character traits of Donald Trump 4 years ago, does now. But he said it would be remiss of him not to say something now. But it's raising concerns that it's like the establishment trying to steal this one from Donald Trump. What do you think of that?
Sure. Well, first of all, the Trump we saw 4 years ago is very different from the Trump we're seeing today. The kind of comments and things he's doing, the vulgar comments, and we didn't see that before, at least not on this kind of level, and not when you're running for president. So the demeaning of the office is a kind of whole different scale here. And then, we've had these contested and or brokered conventions before, and 48. Dewey, 52, Stevenson, both of those on the third ballot, if I'm right on that. And then, of course, the Reagan and Ford in 76, that was on the first ballot, so that was more contested than brokered. So we've seen this before.
But in all those cases, for the parties involved, their candidate was defeated. Now,
that's true.
We can go back, obviously, to Garfield, a beneficiary of a divided convention, goes on to win. We've obviously can go back to 1860, divided convention. Abraham Lincoln goes on to win. So I guess all I'm saying is that it is not the end of the world, right?
It's not. And, everybody's talking about the Republican side. You might have it on the Democratic side. This immunity situation is fairly serious for Hillary Clinton, I would think. I'd be pretty nervous if I was in that camp right now. And everybody's talking about the Republican side because of the Trump phenomena, but who knows? It could happen on the other side, too.
But, David, let me ask you about that. You're right. That's a wild card we're not familiar with yet. But Mitt Romney tried to explain again and again to me that he is not trying to tamper, nor is anyone like him trying to tamper with the number of delegates that Donald Trump already has or will get. And if he gets to north of 1237 or better, that's it. He's the nominee. He just said he would not support him. But in saying that, is he sending a message to the world, divided Republican Party, why don't you just hand this to the Democrats?
I don't think so. And again, we do have a situation here where whoever their nominee is going to be on the other side is going to be pretty weak, too. We've seen the polling on the trust factor with Hillary Clinton and the like. So I think there's so much that's going to happen between now and either one of these conventions that's it's impossible to predict. What is fascinating is what Trump has done in a positive way is more Americans are paying attention to this election than we've ever seen before at this stage. I was on airplanes this weekend, and everybody, everywhere, this is all they're talking about.
No, you're right about that.
And that part is, I think, in the end, that is actually good for democracy.
But they say that's Donald Trump, and if you tick off he or his people, well, there's going to be hell to pay.
Maybe. Or maybe they'll see someone that they think is better. But right now, the anger part is real, and it should be real. There are people out there that have not had a chance to get ahead. And if you look at somebody like a Paul Ryan or somebody that's been his whole focus is how do you empower people more and work on those kind of issues. And Paul will be running the convention, which is interesting. I think the American people will see a lot of other choices, and we'll see how it plays out. But I don't know if we can look back at some of these other contested or brokered conventions and count on those to say that you won't win, because I think the other nominee is going to be so weak as well.
Yeah, there's no way of gauging it. It actually splits 50-50 if you think about it, the number of times we've had them. But, again, I stand by my dicey math. It's good to know someone much smarter has math that says the same thing. Very good having you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.